All right, hello and welcome to this episode on the transtheoretical model of behavior change. My name is Matt, and I want to just say welcome to this kind of series where we're talking about OCD treatment and OCD recovery. And I'm kind of just introducing the concepts and answering a lot of the common questions that I get to really help you on your journey to recovery from OCD. So in this video, like I said, I want to talk about this idea of behavior change. And so one of the things that we talk about a lot in OCD treatment is this idea of ERP, or not reacting to your thoughts, and so one of the ways that we really target OCD recovery is this idea of behavior change, right? And I've talked about this in previous videos, how one of the common things that people think is OCD is a thought problem, but the reality is that when we change how we react to our thoughts, what we do is we don't reinforce that loop, and that ultimately allows us to break out of that cycle. Now, the whole identifying all of the behaviors that you're doing is obviously a huge step to your recovery process that are keeping you trapped. So all the different compulsions, whether they're physical or mental, and I'll talk about that in a future video. But I wanted to talk about this idea of behavior change just as an overall concept, and introduce this model that I'm a big fan of and that I use with my clients, called the transtheoretical model of behavior change. And really, it's a 5-part. Well, I mean, in theory, there's a 6-part, which is the relapse, if that happens. But there's 5 real stages to behavior change. Okay, and in order to kind of parallel this with an easy example, I'm gonna talk about this idea of dieting. Okay, just because I think it's a very applicable example when we talk about recovery or change in life, right? Because we all can relate to this idea of dieting, right? I mean, there's times in my life where I'll be doing very well on my diet, and then I'll have to fall back into some bad routines, and then have to make a change, right? I'm choosing to behave differently, right? That's all behavior change is, right? So let's go ahead and introduce the 5 stages of behavior change. So first stage is pre-contemplation, right? And when we talk about pre-contemplation, it's really exactly what it sounds like. It's like before you're ever even contemplating change, right? I mean, I'm in pre-contemplation. I'm not even thinking about the idea of changing, right? So when it comes to dieting, that's when I'm like just eating pizza, drinking soda, or drinking alcohol more, or I'm eating chips and snacks and cookies, right? And I'm just going about my life, right? Not working out, right? Just kind of doing stuff, right? Doing unhealthy things, more importantly, right? And I'm in pre-contemplation. I'm not worried about it. I'm not thinking about it, right? And so that's stage 1. And when it comes to OCD, usually this is the part of the behavior change process where someone's not even aware that by doing compulsions, it's actually keeping them trapped and stuck in OCD. And so that's that pre-contemplation phase, right? Now, in stage 2, we talk about this idea of contemplation. So we move from pre-contemplation to contemplation, which is just this idea of thinking about change, right? I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I should make a change. And I and usually this happens because of a specific event. Usually the shift from pre-contemplation to contemplation happens because something like someone says, oh, Matt, that stomach's not looking very good, or, whatever, or like you see yourself in the mirror, like, ugh, and then that one moment can often shift someone from pre-contemplation to, hey, maybe I should consider a change, right? I'm contemplating change. I'm not doing anything, right? But I'm contemplating change, all right? And then so in OCD, a lot of times it's this awareness that understanding that your behaviors are keeping you trapped, right? Or even learning that you actually have OCD, right? A lot of people are so stuck in OCD for so many years, never even realizing that that's the problem. And so sometimes that pre-contemplation from contemplation jump can really be just this idea of shifting and understanding what OCD is and how it works. So then the third phase is this idea of preparation. And that's exactly what it sounds like. It's this idea of, I'm going to prepare for change. And one of the ways that we prepare for change is by usually developing a plan, or we, educate, or we have some kind of, guide that comes in that helps us kind of prepare to make a change. So when it comes to dieting, maybe it's creating a meal plan. Maybe it's creating maybe it's cleaning out the cupboards of all the junk food, whatever it is. Maybe it's planning to go to the gym X amount of days, right? or whatever it is that you do. And then when it comes to preparing for OCD recovery, right, that shift from contemplation to preparing, it's actually like, hey, look, making sure you have a plan of action, right? Identifying the compulsive behaviors that you're planning to eliminate, setting up a hierarchy, right? Those are all things we do to prepare for change, okay? And then we move into stage 4, which is action. And obviously this is really the meat and potatoes of change. But these three, a lot of people like to just jump into action, right? And I think that's probably like one of the most surefire ways to fail. It's kind of like the person that's like, okay, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to lose, 40 pounds in 40 days, right? Or they have these like wild goals that happen, right? And in OCD, it's like, I'm going to heal in 7 days. And they start just acting and doing exposures, and then they don't have success right away, and then they kind of drop off or don't continue on the change. So in order to make lasting change, right, these steps are important, because preparing before you take action is going to help your success along the way. So action when it comes to dieting could be a variety of things. Obviously, it's eating better foods, making better choices. And when it comes to OCD, it's a lot of the ERP, the acceptance and commitment therapy work that I'm going to talk about in a future couple episodes. And then finally, the last step of behavior change is this idea of maintenance. And really, that's just this idea of maintaining the change that you've implemented. So when it comes to dieting, again, we're talking about maintaining the healthy behaviors, not eating junk food, all that other stuff. And when it comes to OCD, what we're really talking about is maintaining a kind of compulsion-free lifestyle, right? And not engaging in behaviors that are going to keep you in that loop, not reacting to thoughts, as heavily as you may have, and all the, doing the meditation and the mindfulness and all the behaviors that we start implementing. It's really maintaining that change, right? It's because just like your physical health, we know that physical health doesn't just, you don't reach a point where your physical health just stays in one spot. It's always going up or always going down, right? Your weight is something that's constantly going to fluctuate based on how you're acting, right? And the behaviors you're engaging in. So the physical health is a perfect parallel for mental health as well. It's like, what behaviors are you engaging in? And are those behaviors that are improving your health, or are they making your health decline? And in the same exact way with OCD, it's like, we're implementing new behaviors, and we have to keep doing those to maintain our health and improve our mental health as well. And so that really is this idea of the transtheoretical model of behavior change and how it applies to the OCD recovery process. And so again, those are the 5 stages: the pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. And then there's that there's always relapse that could fall in at any one of those stages, and then just starting back that process again and again on that loop of change. So hopefully that really helped you understand that concept of behavior change. It's one of the things that I think is so important. And so if you are on that process of OCD recovery, or you're looking to implement change, or you want guidance, below this I have in the notes I have a couple links to help you with some different resources on your journey to recovery. And again, thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this show. And again, I will see you guys on the next episode, where I'm going to dive into exposure and response prevention. So I'll see you then, and until then, please subscribe, like this video, comment below, and have a wonderful day.